Good evening, Dr. Winning, Mr. Hazler, Mr. Seborowski, Dr. Celso, faculty and staff, members of the Board of Education, parents, and fellow classmates. Well, we did it. In the blink of an eye, our middle school careers are coming to an end. Truthfully, not every day went quickly. In fact, some days felt like we'd spent a lifetime in a class, and when we checked the clock, only 20 minutes had gone by. But, as we all graduate today, we cannot forget to thank those who helped get us here. Chromebooks, Google, and best of all, PhotoMath. Middle school has been a complete learning experience, though not all the learning happened in the classroom. I firmly believe, as a class, we changed. Every person that walked inside these doors on the first day of 6th grade is walking out tonight and tomorrow a different person. Personally, I can attest to this statement. Throughout the years, I have probably ended up in the principal's office more than most of my other classmates. However, every time there was an incident, Mr. Hazler and Mr. Seborowski had turned each encounter from a disciplinary action to a learning experience. For this, our whole class is grateful. Graduation is an exciting time. It's both an ending and a beginning. It's warm memories of the past and immense dreams for the future. Entering the school 3 years ago, I remember we used to all look up at the giant 8th graders. Now, 3 years later, I'm still looking up at the giant 8th graders. 6th grade was a year of adjustment, from the multiple teachers and the enormous lockers we were all dreaming of in 5th grade, all the way to the new friendships which were created. The one point we all had in common was we found our own identities and peers who could share our same passions. Moving into 7th grade was a big change, and I'll never forget the message we received on the first day of school. While the incoming 6th graders were given a clapping, and the new 8th graders were given a speech by Mr. Hazler over the loudspeaker, we learned that 7th grade generally went under the radar. While this was true, 7th grade was also a grueling year. We can all agree as a class that the level of learning from 6th to 7th grade was an enormous jump. The material was harder and the workload greater. However, this gave us all the chance to learn how to balance our daily lives with our school lives. Then there's 8th grade. This was a year of adjustment. Adjustment into the worlds of algebra and Shakespeare. Adjustment into snack time. Adjustment into preparing for high school. Nelson Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Think about all of the people making a difference in the world right now. Not everybody shares the same opinion or ideas, but what they all do share is an education. This quote comes from a man who used perseverance to fight for oppressed people. This is the same perseverance we, as students, must use every day in the classroom. Everybody has his or her rough days throughout the school year. The days we do not think we can accomplish what must be done. However, through perseverance and perseverance alone, we can accomplish anything we put our minds to. This mindset was embedded in us the first day we all stepped foot into the school. But there is so much more to school than learning. For instance, the amazing home-baked cookies at lunchtime. The same cookies we would all run to get at our snack period, get yelled at, and then do it again the next day. Or field day, the day spent competing in athletic events, doing logic problems, and guessing the names of songs. But best of all were the substitute teachers who would ask if somebody could take the attendance sheet down to the office. I've never seen so many kids raise their hand in class for a question before. Now, at this point in my speech, I was lost in abyss trying to think of what to write next as a conclusion, so I consulted everyone's best friend, Google. I Googled, how to deal with closure. Now, as I have learned, I did not just click on the first search result, I clicked the second one. It took me to tinybuddha.com. Tiny Buddha told me to move on and find someone who was right for me. They must have meant to forget about middle school and get ready for high school, right? In all seriousness, as we set out on a new adventure, there's a sense of fear in us all. Some of us will not be going to the same high school. Some of us are afraid of what lies ahead. However, we all must remember 3 years ago when we were standing in our elementary school, having the same thoughts race through our mind about what PV would hold. Look at us now, 3 years later, and we wouldn't change a thing of how we ended up. So I'm going to leave us with a quote by Dr. Seuss. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way.